Think about the apps on your phone. You probably use them every single day, right? Tapping, swiping, scrolling, it's second nature. But have you ever stopped to think about how they're made? More importantly, what if the app in your pocket wasn't designed by a team of people, but by an AI specifically for you? I mean, really think about that. An app that totally gets you. It changes its layout based on your habits. It knows exactly what you want to see before you even think to look for it. And this isn't some far-off sci-fi idea. This is the cutting edge of design right now. So it leads us to a really fascinating question. Could an AI actually design the perfect app, one that's tailor-made just for you? The dream here is pretty wild. We're talking about a level of personalization that we've just never seen before. Your apps would have this hyper-personalized look and feel, with graphics that are just stunning. The content recommendations would be spot on every single time, and the interface itself would be dynamic, literally shifting and adapting to you in real time. And you know, this isn't just a fantasy. It is a massive, massive market shift that's already happening. We're looking at a predicted 40% surge of generative AI in the mobile app world every single year. So this tech isn't just on the horizon. It's here and it's growing like crazy. But how does it actually work? Let's pop the hood and take a look. So to really get what's going on, we need to understand the AI engine that's making all of this possible. Let's dig into the technology behind the dream. The secret sauce is a technology called a variational autoencoder, or VAE for short. Now I know, that name sounds super complicated, but the concept is actually pretty cool. Think of it like a master artist who studies thousands of famous paintings to figure out, what makes a painting great. A VAE does the exact same thing, but with app designs. It learns from the best to create something totally new. The whole process really boils down to 3 simple steps. First, you have the encoder. Think of it like a student just cramming for a test, analyzing thousands and thousands of real app screenshots. Then it creates something called a latent space, which is basically a simplified mathematical recipe for a great user interface. And finally, the decoder takes that recipe and uses it to cook up a brand new functional design from scratch. Okay, so it can make designs. Big deal, right? The real question is, are they any good? I mean, how does this VAE model actually stack up against other types of AI that are out there? Well, the results are pretty impressive, actually. A recent study compared these models, and the VAE came out on top. It's just remarkably good at creating designs that look and feel like a human made them. This is a huge leap forward. But is it enough to totally change the game for designers? Let's find out. Because here's where we hit the brakes. It's time for a reality check. We've got this incredible, powerful technology, but how are the pros, the people designing our apps, actually using it in their day-to-day jobs? Get a load of this quote from a user experience or UX practitioner. It reveals something pretty shocking. A lot of designers are using these AI tools, but they're doing it in secret. There's no team strategy, no communication. It's just as long as the outcome is acceptable. And that is a huge problem. It means companies are totally missing out on the real potential here. And when you look at how they're using AI, a really clear pattern emerges. On the one hand, for research tasks, summarizing data, writing drafts, stuff like that, it's a powerhouse. But when it comes to the core design tasks, the visual creative stuff, well, it's still falling flat. This next quote from a UX designer just hits the nail on the head. It feels to me that the AI design tools aren't quite capable of creating something that is meaningful enough. And that's the key word, isn't it? Meaningful. The AI can generate pixels, sure, but that human touch, that intuition, it's just not there yet. So it's no surprise that the pros have some pretty serious concerns. They're worried about the quality of the output. Sometimes it has glaring errors. They're worried about junior employees relying on it too much and not learning the fundamentals. And there's this huge lack of formal policies and, maybe most importantly, training on how to use these tools effectively. And all of this brings us to the core of the issue. We've got to bridge this gap between the user's frustration on one side and the technology's real-world limitations on the other. So what gives? Why is there this massive disconnect? The promise of the technology sounds incredible, but the reality of how it's being used seems kind of disappointing. What's going on? Well, it turns out today's AI design tools have 5 critical weaknesses that are basically deal breakers for professional designers. For starters, they can't integrate with source code. They also don't really follow established design best practices. They struggle to create native apps for iOS or Android, they have zero quality assurance built in, and they can't be trained on a company's unique style guide. It's a big list of problems. But the story doesn't end here with a list of problems. Far from it. Researchers are already hard at work building the next generation of AI, an AI designed to finally deliver on that dream of smarter interfaces. The next big thing is something called Large User Interface Models, or LUIMs for short. You're going to want to remember that name, because this could be the breakthrough that finally bridges that gap we were talking about. So what is a LUIM? The easiest way to think about it is like a whole design agency in a box. It's got large language models to act as the copywriter, large vision models to be the graphic designer, and large code models to be the developer. And running the whole show, like a creative director, is the large UI model itself, not just generating the interface, but even predicting how you, the user, are going to interact with it. And if they can pull this off, what does it unlock? Well, the potential is just enormous. For developers, it means building apps way faster with happier customers. And for all of us, the users, it means a truly personalized experience and apps that are more accessible for absolutely everyone. So the technology for these truly intelligent adaptive interfaces, it is almost here. It's knocking at the door. But it leads to one final huge question. It's not about the tech anymore. It's about us. Are our companies, our teams, and our own skills, are we ready for it?